Now, maybe there's something else here. And there's no doubt. Look, I've said on multiple occasions that of the many reasons why I was not supportive of Hillary Clinton in 2008, I was not supportive of her in the primary in 2016, were policy decisions. I didn't perceive her as a progressive, as a senator from New York, particularly progressive. And I've certainly talked about how I think I've said there was a pathology involving their relationship to money. Okay. But I want to read this. Somebody tweeted at me a zero hedge story, so I might as well do that one. I have no doubt that I could go and find any number of videos of genuine progressives who are just super genuine progressives, aggressively progressive, let's say, who will be doing this same video. But I was tweeted at the zero hedge, so I don't want to. And it's talking about the Teno memo, which is a memo that Doug Band wrote to Clinton folks. I don't know who exactly it was written to. Trying to argue like, look, you should pay me more. Or you should pay me. Because I throw a lot of business, essentially, to President Clinton and to the Clinton Foundation. Now, note, I guess what's President Clinton's is also Hillary Clinton's, but they share their finances. So the memo starts with a brief background on Teno, and it talks about how one consulting firm was started by Declan Kelly, and then later Kelly joined Teno, or they founded it together, he and Doug Band, in 2011, in June of 2011. Okay? I have sought to leverage my activities, including my partner role at Teno, to support and raise funds for the foundation. This is bolded. So in other words, one of the ways that I would help raise money for you is by the work I would do with my PR people, essentially. This memorandum strives to set forth how I've endeavored to support Clinton Foundation and President Clinton personally. And then he goes into the description, and this is the zero hedge people. The donations from Dow Chemical are particularly notable for several reasons, because Dow gave money to the Clinton Foundation. In all, there are $14 million worth of donations listed, with the largest contributors being Coca-Cola, Barclays, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Laureate International Universities. We now know that Dow Chemical CEO Andrew Leveris was granted special access to then Secretary Clinton back in July of 2009. Now, back in July of 2009, Teno did not exist. Declan Kelly was founded in June 2009. They probably didn't even have operations in July of 2009. So the Dow Chemical head was granted special access to Secretary Clinton. At the same time, he was embroiled in ongoing litigation with another Clinton Foundation donor, Kuwait, over a failed joint venture that would have netted Dow $9 billion in cash. Now, there's no talk of what relevance that has. That's just more of a coincidence. Obviously, the wealthiest people in the world are associated with the Clinton Foundation so far as they gave money to this foundation. Because, and it's obvious why they do this, they want to be in the good graces of a former president, of a standing Secretary of State. I will tell you that if you took away every donation to every charity in any city that you're in for people who partly wanted to be in the good graces of the people associated with that charity, you would see 3/4 of charitable donations in this country dry up tomorrow. I mean, how many people get involved with charities? Now, I don't have to do this per se, but in the business world, get involved with charities to network. Is there anybody in this office who even knows people like that who do that?
That's involved with charities to network?
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. That's what's going on here. Now, am I saying it's good? No. Am I saying that we should be promoting these values? No. I also don't think that you should be having an affair with a 22-year-old girl if you're the president of the United States.
I don't know. Don't knock until you try it. I guess you won't be able to try either, loser.
But the question is here, like, this corruption. Okay, so as Band notes in his memo, 1 month after being granted special access to Secretary Clinton, Liveris invited President Clinton and Band out for a day of golf. Moreover, shortly after this meeting with Secretary Clinton and golf outing with President Clinton, Liveris decided to donate $500,000 to the Clinton Global Initiative. I presume that when anybody gives money to the Clinton Global Initiative of this type of amount, that what precedes it is some type of personal appeal to them. In August of 2009, Mr. Kelly invited Mr. Liveris to play golf with President Clinton and me. This is the memo now speaking. Now, here's the other thing. There's been no evidence that they're funneling money from the Clinton Foundation into their own pockets. They don't need to do the Clinton Foundation. Because clearly there's plenty of example of Bill Clinton just getting the money directly. Right? There's no reason, I don't even know why the Clinton Foundation comes up. It's supposed to be some type of diversionary tool or something. In August of 2009, Mr. Kelly invited Mr. Liveris to play golf with President Clinton and me. This is written by Band. Mr. Kelly subsequently asked Dow to become a CGI sponsor at the $500,000 level. Kelly is his partner, which they did, as well as making a $150,000 donation to the foundation for President Clinton to attend a Dow dinner in Davos. So instead of taking the money directly, Bill Clinton, he says, give it to the foundation. He probably got paid in other ways, but whatever. He's going to be at Davos anyways. The story gets even more bizarre, writes the guy from Zero Hedge, when Band reveals the following footnote that Liveris provided the Dow Chemical plane to fly President Clinton and his staff from New York to California and then California to North Korea for their golf outing. Can you imagine? Now, the sharp wits over at Zero Hedge who are writing this scandal about this scandal say, we would assume this is a simple typo by Band and or he's just geographically challenged. If not, this certainly raises a whole set of questions for Bill. Now, here's a project I want you all to do, ladies and gentlemen, that you're going to make you a super sleuth on par with those morons at Zero Hedge. Google the words Clinton, North Korea, Doug Band, 2009. In fact, you don't even need the 2009. And look at what's on the page. You will see, and maybe it might even reference stories that came out about a month ago.
North Korea plans to rig 2016 election for Hillary Clinton to complete master plan.
You're going to see that President Clinton was sent to North Korea because he was the only person that Kim Jong-il would meet with from America, but was a private citizen, was not going as someone, as a representative of the U.S. government, because that would also be illegal because of our lack of diplomatic ties with North Korea, to go and negotiate the release of 2 American journalists. They had to go in a private plane because because of course, you're going to do this in somewhat sort of a secret type of situation, at least at the time. That you'll recall the last scandal referencing this was when Doug Bann tried to get a special diplomatic passport. And he asked the State Department for a diplomatic passport to travel with Clinton. And they said, we'll look into it, and then never gave him one because the State Department determined he wasn't eligible, even though they were going on this special trip to secure the release of these 2 hostages or these journalists. I mean, this is the type of crap. Now, yes, did Bill Clinton get paid $15 million to do nothing as far as I can tell, except for be an ambassador for a for-profit university? Does that make me sick? Yeah, of course.
And Doug Bann certainly used his role as a Clinton body guy to essentially create
a business
advisory consulting firm, which traded on his social capital. And that's it.
And
the Clintons
they cut ties with him 4 years ago because of it.
That's what frustrates me. I mean, there's a great piece there was a piece in the New York Times in 2012, I think, that outlined this. There's a piece in the New Republic called Scandal at Clinton Inc. that came out in 2013, how Doug Bann drove a wedge through a political dynasty. None of the stuff, like there is a lot of gross stuff. None of it's new or revelatory. And in fact,
none of it's illegal.
None of it's illegal. None of it's revelatory. And it actually shows, like, as an example, like Chelsea Clinton trying to be like, you're ruining my parents' brand. Like, it's infighting about a guy who is dealing with some, I would accept, pretty sleazy politicians in some ways. And he's using his opportunity to be a grifter and set up his own business.
Look, it's like Matthew Film Guy selling stuff on eBay from here.
But it's the same point that we've made since the beginning. It's all about the waters they swim in, and the context is incredibly problematic. But the search for like some type of like Nick Cage movie style secret memo, you know, inside the pyramids conspiracy is bizarre. And all the stuff that they keep bringing out about Bernie too. It's like, yeah, they were running against Bernie, right? They're not going to write nice memos about him.
And Bernie has already come out and said, I wouldn't want my memos to be seen about what we were writing about the Clintons either.
Yeah, because they're running political campaigns. Imagine if the memos were like,
ridiculous.
My opponent is the greatest politician in history. I feel so guilty for running against her. Let's think about in the next debate how I can avoid attacking her. And at the very least, let's make sure she gets no negative press coverage.
Also, don't forget, this is a directive to our communications department. There is to be no contact with journalists or reporters or bloggers. I don't want you pushing any stories. I don't want you to make any arguments out there. I don't want you to go out there and try and get anybody to act as official or unofficial surrogates for us. We don't do that.
And if I see any of you on TV pushing the campaign's perspective in any way, indirectly or directly, criticizing Hillary Clinton, you will be immediately fired and will never have a job in progressive politics again.
There is a single person who is trying to contact an opinion writer and convince them that we are in the right. That is going to be the end. You're going to be terminated without any questions. Period. End of story.
You're going to be topping Maple for the next 10 years.
Either all these people come to adopt what we're saying without any convincing, or I don't want them.
It's organic persuasion or nothing.
That's it. I don't want to hear about any of that. If I see the slightest bit of outreach from the outreach committee or the communications people, there's to be no communications.
Another thing is I don't want any tweets or Facebook updates that make our campaign look good or her campaign look bad.
Absolutely not.
That's another thing completely banned.
Absolutely not. If there's any attempt to create narratives or memes.
And let me tell you, before you save the energy, if you so much as cut one advertisement for this campaign, you're fired immediately.
Fired.
Stop tweeting us dumb nonsense, please.
Honestly, there's more than enough outlets that will take this stuff, run with it, and get tens of thousands of hits on their YouTube channel. Go give it to them. Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Subscribe.